Listening Library presents Gabby Duran and the Unsittables, Alien Babysitting Adventures. Adapted by Carin Davis. Read for you by Katie Schorr.
Chapter 1. Gabby Duran was not a fan of mornings, or her new town of Havensburg. So at 7:45 a.m., when her pink alarm clock rudely buzzed her awake, she did what any sensible person would do. She slammed the snooze button with a brick. Sure, there might have been more elegant ways to quiet the clock, but hey, it got the job done. From Gabby's perspective, that was a win. She curled up under her fuchsia covers. Recently, Gabby had come to believe that mornings were for suckers, as was this lame town. Havensburg had nothing on Miami, where she'd spent all 13 years of her life living it up. Gabby had pretty much ruled that city. Then, 3 weeks ago, everything changed. She and her mom, Dinah, and her 8-year-old sister, Olivia, had packed up their belongings and moved to the quiet town of Havensburg. Talk about upheaval. Gabby missed her friends. She missed the beach. She missed doing her thing. Her mom and sis both slid into suburban life without a glitch. In fact, they were thriving there. But Gabby, she slid in like, what's the opposite of a smooth operator? It doesn't matter. She slid in like someone who didn't fit in. Her life was over the minute she hit Havensburg. More like Haven's boring. Gabby tugged on her comforter and glanced around her room. She tried to put her own spin on her new space. She painted the walls electric blue, then papered them with concert flyers, cute animal prints, and posters from her top 5 favorite horror films. She'd strung strands of lights from the ceiling and even painted the wall above her bed with a stylized Gabby D. Her room looked sick, but there was only so much style her neon later hater sign could bring to this cookie-cutter town. Gabby laid her head down on her pillow. Her long, ombre hair splayed messily about. At least she could snooze the day away, so it wouldn't be a total loss. No sooner had Gabby shut her eyes than her bedroom door swung wide open. "Morning, sunshine! Up and at 'em!" sang her mom, who was dressed in a pale blush sweater, matching blush pants, and a smile that was way too big for the time of day. "Your morning attitude, it's off-putting," groaned Gabby. Dinah crossed the cluttered room and raised the window shades. Gabby grimaced at the bright light it let in. "I'm going to need you to watch your sister for a couple hours today, okay?" As a single mom, Dinah counted on her older daughter to look out for her younger one. Gabby gave her mom a major eye roll. Babysit? Today? But in truth, it wasn't like she had anything better to do. No one was blowing up her cell to hang out or texting her to join in. She might as well watch Olivia. Babysitting, Gabby thought. If you've got a younger sibling, you're gonna get roped into it sooner or later. Fortunately, I pretty much rule at it. An hour later, Gabby sat at the kitchen counter wearing a cropped gray hoodie and counting the cash in an envelope clearly marked emergency money. "Crazy idea," said Olivia, approaching her sister. Clutched in her hands was a colorful homemade spinner. "What if we spent the day making a new chore wheel?" She pushed her glasses up on her nose. Wearing a crisp, white-collared shirt underneath a neat, light blue sweater, Olivia didn't look dressed for a Saturday. Did the girl even own a pair of sweatpants? Gabby would have to work on that. "Liv, I love you. I do," said Gabby, and she meant it. Her sister was the best. but someone needs to save you from yourself. As the older sister, Gabby figured it was her responsibility to help Liv live a little. Show her there was more to life than chore wheels and rule following. With that goal in mind, Gabby fanned out the crisp bills in her manicured hand. What if, instead, we spent this $20 Mom left us in case of emergency? Liv scrunched up her face, looking perplexed. But this isn't an emergency. If we're talking chore wheels, this is as dire as it gets, Gabby said, studying Olivia's blunt bob and severe bangs. Gabby had so much to teach Liv about the art of loosening up. The Duran sisters stood in the Havensburg grocery, staring up at a towering wall of cereal boxes. There were rows and rows of Dax Flax, Treasure Flakes, and high on the top shelf, way out of reach, the grand prize. Blammo bombs. You're sure we need sugar-frosted Blammo bombs? Asked Olivia. Just the thought of bending the rules made her itchy. There was still time to turn around. The fact that you even have to ask that tells me that we do, said Gabby. Spending the crisis cash on sugar cereal was the plan of a super genius, if she must say so herself. Get climbing, she instructed with a flick of her hand. For a girl in camo shorts and a bucket hat, she sounded pretty authoritative. Liv started to scale the cereal wall. These shelves don't feel super sturdy. She looked down. The ground seemed really, really far away. Are you even watching me? She asked Gabby. Of course I am, said Gabby, not bothering to look up from the box label she was studying. Who knew cereal contained so much riboflavin? Fascinating. Olivia stretched out her arm as far as she could to grab the Blammo bombs with the tips of her fingers. But suddenly, the shelf beneath her feet collapsed and she tumbled to the ground with a thud, buried beneath an avalanche of Dax Flax and Treasure Flakes. Gabby looked up. Huh. Who would have thought the shelves weren't sturdy? She learned something new every day. Gabby opened the front door to the Duran house with one hand and held a bag of frozen peas to Olivia's head with the other. She was not about to let this minor cereal incident slow the Duran girl's roll. She checked Liv's head for bumps and bruises. Well, there's no swelling, so that's good. You sure you're okay? I'm fine, Liv said, smiling. Plus, how could I be mad? You introduced me to these guys. She hugged a box of Blammo bombs to her chest. Olivia shoved a fistful of cereal into her mouth and scampered off to read a book. See? Babysitting's a piece of cake, thought Gabby. The key to being a stellar babysitter wasn't staying clear of trouble. It was untangling the trouble before the parents came home. Chapter 2. The next morning, the Duran sisters sat side by side eating breakfast at the kitchen island. Gabby threw back a couple of breakfast taquitos while scrolling through social media. Her old Miami friends' feeds were filled with beach selfies and sunlit smiles. "Aw, Katrina and Michelle. I miss those girls," said Dinah, peering over Gabby's shoulder. "You should call them. There's no reason you girls can't be friends." "Mom, it's been 3 weeks and we moved 8 states away. They've already moved on," said Gabby. She stared at an image of 3 girls cracking up. What she wouldn't give to be one of them. "They have not moved on," insisted Dinah. "They've already replaced me. You see this girl? I don't know this girl." She held up the phone for her mom to see. "Say hello to Gabby 2.0. The new me." Gabby swiped through picture after picture of Katrina and Michelle with the mystery girl. The fact that they'd filled her spot so quickly stung. "Can we just move back to Miami?"
Sample complete. Ready to continue?